Welcome to my podcast, and I'm sitting in a beautiful room in the south side of Highclere Castle, and I have a very special guest with me today, Lucy Clare Dunbar. Welcome, Lucy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Have you ever been to Highclere before?
No, I'm living the dream right now.
I've got your book, The Book of Gifts, which I adore, and I met you because you're a hugely talented illustrator. And I had, unbeknownst to me, found this wonderful sketch of Maggie Smith from the back in a long, powerful dress coat, walking away. And of course, she did walk away from us. She sadly died in 2024, having been on this earth for 89 years. And I think working as an actor for, well, until she was 88. And it was such an amazing sketch. And I then wanted to find out who had sketched it. Me. It was just so lovely. And then it led me on to some of the other works and sketches that you've done. And Instagram is an amazing way of sharing, actually, and bringing people, I think, into your world as an illustrator. You've got a very clear identifying hand. When I'm writing, you end up as an author, I think, finding a tone. And obviously as an illustrator, you have to find a certain personality. I was fascinated to find out how you first became an illustrator, because I'm sure everybody would love to know.
Gosh, is it quite a long story? So my dad's actually an artist as well. He's an animator. So I was brought up drawing. There's 5 of us kids. We were drawing all the time. We'd go out for dinner. He'd whip out the drawing pad, keep us entertained, like tame us. And yeah, so I was drawing from the get-go, then studied at school, went on to study at college, which is where things started to get a bit tricky because I had quite a lot of health issues that led to me actually losing my sight.
Did you lose it completely?
Yeah. I always find it weird to talk about because it wasn't black, or like I could still see. I was clinically blind and I couldn't cross the road by myself or write on paper anymore. I couldn't actually draw anymore. It had got to a point that it was so bad. But somehow through that, I continued to sketch and things, not really knowing what I was drawing again. And it's really because drawing's kind of like my therapy, and it's how I process the world. When people pass and I'll do a sketch for them, it's almost me processing what's going on in the world, and in turn helping other people do that. It's just, well, I just find it's like the biggest honor to be able to do that.
How long before your sight came back sufficient so you could sketch with confidence?
Yeah, so it took, I think in total, the whole kind of process was maybe 2 years. And then once I was diagnosed, I think the turnaround was maybe 5 months, which going from not being able to see to having pretty normal vision again was
amazing.
Well, it was a gift. I truly feel like the luckiest girl in the world, and I feel like I got given a second chance. So yeah, a lot of my drawings, I guess, are based off of the time I went through and knowing that even in the darkest of times, there is hope. That's kind of the message I always want to give people.
Can any of your other siblings sketch in the way that you...
Oh my gosh, my family is so talented. So my older sister is, oh my gosh, she's my idol. She had her own wallpaper business. So she was sketching her whole life. And me being the little sister, I was like, I want to be just like you. But also my older brother is an amazing artist. We're all creative in our own ways. One of us is a graphic designer. So it's kind of like, you know how doctors, it follows in the family. I guess doing art kind of followed in ours. And it's just a part of us.
Oh, absolutely lovely. Is your father still sketching?
Oh, he'll be sketching till forever and ever. He loves it. It is a part of him, and he'll wake up in the morning and he says if he doesn't draw, he kind of doesn't feel like the day's done. Like he started his job. So he's retired, but he just loves doing it. And his passion is what inspires me too.
And obviously you've produced a beautiful book, The Book of Gifts, which is lovely. And it has such lovely words in it as well. Are the words your words, or how did you put it all together?
So I would say some of it's like what I've heard in passing or advice I've been given. And then a lot of it's me kind of speaking from my heart. it really is. My Instagram's like my journal. So in turn, I feel like this book's kind of turned into that. You're getting an insight into my heart. But basically just from what's going on in my life. And I think I realized very early on, because of what I'd been through, that people in general, we're all pretty similar. We all have feelings. We all go through tough times. And it's almost what links us together. Even when you feel so alone, there'll be someone out there who's maybe feeling just a little bit similar or the same.
I think I'm quite sure with that. But what's wonderful is about your sketches and your words and your comments on your sketches. They are leading out of the darkness into the light, which is what is so uplifting. I mean, there's so many of them. Today is the miracle and everything else is pure magic. And it's surrounded by a circle of happy things like apples and hats and pumpkins and glasses and coffee. But it's just that. And the greatest gift is time with you. And for so many businessmen, I think as they get older, I've listened to many of their speeches. And as they are reaching their 80s, having been so successful, the greatest thing they're aware of is time. And as you get older, time just gets faster and faster and shorter in front of you. And it's just trying to enjoy every day, which is what I so enjoy about some of your comments. And there's one here about, what is it? Don't let the worry of tomorrow make you miss out on the gift of today. Although sometimes at Highclere we are struggling today. So are you led by the words or a vision of what you want to sketch? What comes?
It's funny. I think most people assume I come up with the sketch and then the words come after, but it's often, well, no, actually 90% of the time, it's from the words and from what I've been genuinely, what I post on Instagram. It's probably what I'm going through in the day. So it's my way of getting out my emotion.
Because what I think it is what came across, because I then started looking at your Instagram, having found you. And then obviously I can't remember whether we contacted you through Instagram or through your agent, but it comes across as authentic. And I think what at Highclere we're always trying to be is authentic. You don't also try and sell things. You just are sharing your thoughts and your heart and your vision or your courage. And at Highclere too, I'm not trying to sell a Le Creuset cooking pot. I'm sort of trying to share moments to make people happy or thoughtful, or to share a fact they might know, or to make them laugh. But it's again that same authenticity.
Well, I've been here, a couple of hours, and I felt like I felt the family. I love it. And it's just, you're letting us into your world, which I think is a beautiful thing to do. So, yeah.
And no one is
never.
Is this your first book?
My first book.
I find, illustrations really, really positive. I love the way you've done them, which is very talented. When you do, there's one here which is about spring is the sign from nature that we'll all be okay, that you've made it through, and the brightest chapter is about to begin. And then there's a picture of a book open behind it and a man standing with an umbrella and a little dog by his side. So when you've done that, was that a sketch done straight away? Did it go through various iterations, or what is the process of getting there?
I've got a very short attention span. So that will be, I normally just kind of do the drawing and then share it. I don't overwork things because it's so kind of authentic to me. I want to share it straight away and in the moment.
Is this with watercolors originally, or what?
Yeah, so it's kind of mixed media. Because I lost my sight, I then transitioned into using an iPad with an amazing app called Procreate. So I learned how to use watercolor on there, which meant I could zoom in, and so that really saved me as well. And then I could carry on.
Because an iPad or something is backlit, because my husband's sight is perfect.
Yeah.
And he finds that easy to write on. So he finds it much easier to read on that. Yeah. Whereas I like scuffed books.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing better than a proper book. When you're holding it.
And then I'm afraid I scribble on them, not the ones in the library. And then sometimes I scribble notes in the back of them, which is not so good. And I can't remember which back of which book I'm scribbled notes in.
I love that.
So many of your characters are painted from the back. It's a back view. Do you feel you're in them looking forwards, or what's the reason for that?
It's like kind of, as I've gone on, I think I've realized more and more why I do it. But one of the main reasons, I think, as someone looking at it, you can put your own emotions into it more and maybe your own experiences into it. So it kind of opens it up to the audience or reader better. But also, when I lost my sight, you don't even realize what your coping mechanisms are. But say to recognize my dad, it would be like the jaw in his walk or something, or like the small details that I think you can get from behind that really bring out someone's character, if that makes any sense. So it's kind of, I love that you can tell who someone is just from their stance.
When you sketched Maggie Smith, which was, again, she's looking away from us all, which I thought was very poignant. And yet, I immediately knew it was Maggie Smith. Did you put a comment beneath it? I can't remember.
Yes. Oh gosh, it's awful. I can't.
But no, but I can't actually. But it's an archive, but I can't quite remember. But what's extraordinary is just the colour, powerful, with kind of associated with her, and just the stance from the back.
Yeah,
and I guess the hair.
Someone's real personality comes out in there. Your whole being takes over your body, and it is in the way you walk or the way you laugh. I don't know. Those are the things I fall in love with people as well, is their quirks and differences.
The future will be brilliant, but for now, let's just focus on the present. I can find time is so much present in all that you do. Is that deliberate, do you think, or did that just happen?
Again, with my health issues, I had a lot of close calls, which again, I really take as a gift, because I think I realized very young that tomorrow isn't a given. And the only thing that's real
is
now. And that's something, I mean, obviously sometimes I let my worries, I try my best to be in the present and be with my loved ones, because that's really, when it comes down to it, that's all that matters, especially with Christmas. You get so stressed by getting prepared for it and getting the right gifts. But really, if you've got all your loved ones around the tree, I don't think there's anything more you could really want. So,
not at all.
Yeah.
Did you train college or art?
Yes,
college?
I did. I went and did an art foundation, which was a bit of a disaster. I got told I'd never be an illustrator. Just follow your heart. That's the message I like to take from that. Just follow your heart and what you love, and you can do it. But did that and then went on to do fashion graphics at uni, which was kind of like textile design. And because I thought that was more of I was thinking ahead, and I was like, I can get a job for that. But this was really, my account was born in COVID, I guess, when the world shut down, because I just graduated from uni and no one was hiring. I was also going through my kind of eye issues and mental health issues. So from that, this kind of was born, and then it's just grown into something bigger than I could ever imagine.
Your father must be so proud of you and where you've come, because there's quite a few dogs and animals. Were you brought up with dogs?
Yeah, dogs and cats.
So what sort of dog?
I had a cabochon. Oh my goodness, she was the light of my life, of everyone's life. No, actually, she was quite smelly, but she followed us everywhere. Went with my mum everywhere. And a lot of my work does focus on pet loss and animal loss, because I don't think people often give the same grace to that kind of grief, even though they are literally like your second arm. You feel like you've lost a limb when they go. So, and I've always loved animals. I thought I was going to be a vet. That was the initial plan, but I soon realized I needed some science mixed in there, which wasn't quite my cup of tea. But yeah, adore animals.
You don't have a dog at the moment?
No, not at the moment. Trying to convince my mom. Mom, if you're listening.
No, definitely. But I mean, they are tiny. I have got far too many dogs, but I have 9 dogs.
Oh, wow.
Which is a bit crazy.
But they just live in the moment, don't they?
During COVID, every single day, sometimes I was feeling quite down because we were trying to survive as a business. And I nevertheless have to take the dogs out in the morning and go for a walk and feel quite desolate. It was quite lonely. But they just said to me, hello. And my spaniels were bouncing around, and the Labrador said, excuse me, I'm from my ball. So just hit me my tennis ball so I can pick it up. And they were very good. And by the time I got back, I felt a little less grey, and they just wanted me to pat them. And for a spaniel in particular, every day is more chicken soup for the soul, and they are just
I love that.
bouncing around. So
Always happy to see you.
my Labradors are generations that I have bred, which I just adore. And I have two, well, they're not puppies now, they're a year and a half old. But Poppy, one of them, ever since she was born, she just sat in the midst of the litter looking up at me. And it was completely uncalled for. With out of all the puppies, she's just spent her time gazing at me, which obviously compared to my husband, my son, or most of my sisters, is hugely positive and rewarding. And whatever I do for her is right. And they are just so amazing and so, I think, calming and sitting on a sofa, just, patting a Labrador. And one of them likes lying behind my shoulders and the other across my knee. And then the other one is determined that my husband likes her. And he is going to pat her. There is something very good. He then does start stroking one of the Labradors. Doesn't give up. This reminds you that it's a good moment.
Yeah.
So I tell him it's a good moment. He says, I'm getting covered in their hands.
I love that so much.
But I think dogs are important for all of us. And many of us got dogs during COVID. And everybody, in any case, went for walks in the park and stared up at the trees. And people said, I'd never noticed the cherry blossom before or the crops growing.
The joy they find in the little moments. That's something very much that I want to bring out in the book too, is that it's the little moments that are the magic moment. The world is a busy place. We're speeding by at lightning speed. And sometimes we forget.
And it's funny because there's a saying here which I liked very much. Home isn't a place, it's a feeling. Because I'm trying to finish my next book for the same publishers as you're with. And one of the chapters is about living in a castle. And it's about how you bring out the essence of what a home is, because it's called a stately home. But what is a home? And it asks you so many questions. And it's about the atmosphere and the feeling. Yes, it's about lampshades or clutter or something which makes a cozy corner. But above all, it's about a feeling and an atmosphere. I'm just delving a little bit into English country house style, which has an element of silliness in it, which I really appreciate. But it's not formulaic. So it's very hard to frame. And I found my way through it just. But it is. So I've just been writing about a sense of place.
I love that. And
but as
personalities come through in their home.
Yes, but funny enough, with the castle, it's not just my home.
No.
There's been a home here since 749 AD.
A lot of homes.
So there's been a lot of homes, and it's a home for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's a dream for a lot of people today who find it a place of reassurance in a very muddled world, and find it a place of reassurance because they love Downton Abbey, and find it a place of reassurance when they come and visit and walk in and leave their cares behind and live in the moment. Because we ban phones, we ban photographs, we just say, I live in the moment. It's so really good. There's no Wi-Fi here, and that's quite straightforward, really. But I think that really matters. So I'm trying to understand what makes us people in an AI world, because I think what makes us people is so important. And your books are all about people. So maybe your purpose was to be you all along, which is all about kindness. So it reminds me of Winnie the Pooh. He's actually one of my heroes. And mine. And it's so much love in that little bear. And 100-acre woods. Now, I've got a wood out there, Wood of Goodwill, which I've called it. But I'm not sure it was 100 acres, but perhaps I could claim it was and have my own 100-acre Wood of Goodwill. It sounds better. And if I'm in doubt, I either turn to Winnie the Pooh or Winston Churchill, frankly. It's one of them never gives up. Solid. And the other is playing Pooh stick over a bridge.
Because he leads with love, and I think everyone connects with that.
Yeah.
And it's what the world needs more of. Kindness makes the world go round.
So when you were publishing this book, did your publishers require X number of illustrations from you, or how did that work?
They were kind of bombarded with me just sending as many drawings as possible, because I just adore drawing. It just a part of me. So our main goal, this was what we kept going back to, was that if we help one person, we've done our job. So it was left up to me and what I wanted to share with the world. And I think I just wanted to put my heart on paper, and hopefully it would help someone somewhere feel less alone.
There's quite a lot of music. Do you like listening to music? Or do you...
Yeah, again, I don't even know if it's just music. I just like a buzz around me. I come from a big family and I like a hum around me all the time. So I'll either have music playing, podcasts, even to fall asleep, I listen to rain sounds. But constant noise. And I guess just a feeling like there's stuff going on around me brings me a lot of peace.
So there's 4 in your family?
5 of us kids.
5 kids. And you're in the middle?
I'm, second youngest, so one of the middle.
I'm one of 6 girls. So they're going nice around. So I'm not very good without any noise.
Neither am I. I don't really know what to do with myself.
So I turn the radio on and I have the music on and I write to classical music actually because it fills my head and helps. For some reason, I think classical music helps your brain begin to relax and be a little bit more elastic.
Yeah, my dad does that drawing. Listens to classical music. I actually listen to podcasts. I like to have kind of chatter going on around me.
Lucy, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.